Coming to you live from Georgia, it's the Matt L. Podcast. Our next guest is my friend John Harris, who is a Christian and a Democrat. How have you been, John?
I'm doing well. Thanks for coming down and doing this podcast with me.
Are you ready for some questions?
I'm always ready for some questions.
Have you always been a Democrat, or was there a time when you decided to become one?
I have been a Democrat as long as I can remember. Before I could even vote, I was already in Democratic politics.
Okay. So, have you always voted for Democratic candidates?
I have. In fact, I've always said in my life that if I found an opposing party's candidate that I felt was better qualified or represented my views better, that I would vote for them, but I have never honestly found that.
That's interesting. We'll get into my story a little bit, but that's like I would consider voting for a pro-life Democrat. Are you a Christian first and a Democrat second?
Oh, without a doubt. I am definitely a Christian first, before all things. And I even venture there's only a two-party system here, so you're either Republican or Democrat if you want to be involved with all political processes. I mean, you could certainly register independent, but then you're cut out of half the elections. So I choose to stay in the Democratic Party.
Do you think being from Connecticut, a non-Bible Belt state, is part of the reason why you're a Democrat?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure growing up in a state that is obviously very blue now, but it was kind of split when I was a kid. It was more of a purple state when I was younger. The 70s, they had a series of Republican governors during my childhood and growing up, and there was also part of the legislature was very Republican, especially from the western side of the state. So I think it's only been in recent years that it's really gone hard blue. They are what they call a super blue state, somewhat like California, where they dominate both the legislative house and the governorship. But I'm sure that my liberal views were formed in those times.